Hey everyone, Ben here, and today I wanted to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and that's boss fights. You know, to me, boss fights are the pinnacle of what a video game can offer players. They sort of serve this dual purpose as being a skill test, kind of seeing if you've mastered the systems of the game so far, while also being a chance for developers to just go over the top with these magnificent, exorbitant set pieces. You know, boss fights have kind of fallen out of favor in 2019, but there were still some really solid ones this year, and I wanted to break down 4 of my favorites. So let's get into it. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is full of incredible, memorable boss fights. Ask a player what their favorite was, and you'll hear a lot of different answers. Ask them what their most frustrating was, and a lot of them might say the Guardian Ape. Sekiro, unlike the Souls games, is a game where most of your opponents are human, or at least human-like. That's why the first time I laid eyes on the larger-than-life primate with a giant sword stuck in his neck, I knew I'd be in for a rough fight. After hours of sticking and moving and sticking and moving and dodging plenty of, let's just call them unique projectiles, I was finally ready to deliver my death blow. I grappled my way to the top of the ape, grasped the mighty sword in my hands, and separated the beast from his head. And then that icy motherfucker gets back up, grabbed the sword in one hand and his head in the other, and started swinging for the fences. Half of me was pissed since I knew the victory was still far away. The other half of me couldn't help but applaud those devious devs at From for designing such an emotional roller coaster. But then you fight him again, and then you fight 2 of them. Fuck that. Now, this one might throw some people off, as many wouldn't classically consider this duel of wits a boss battle. But your first conversation with the Crooked Union boss in Disco Elysium is truly the game's first great test of your resolve. Claire is described as a walrus of a man, as intimidating as he is round. While he spews nothing but pleasantries when you first make his acquaintance, you are immediately forced to sit in what is described as the world's most uncomfortable folding chair. You know from there that you're in for a fight. While you originally approach Claire trying to obtain information about the case you're working, he turns the tables on you right away. Your missing gun, your activities in Revachol, even your real name. Claire wants you to do his dirty work, and he's willing to dangle this information in front of you to get you going. This is the first point in the game where I started to make what I would consider some moralistic compromises, and it only got worse from there. One of my favorite types of bosses are Tormentors. Your Bowsers, your Eggmans, your Nemesises. The Tormentor is the boss that you spend the entire game battling. They come after the player again and again, presenting themselves as a resilient force that cannot be stopped until the player achieves ultimate power. Practically, they act as a sort of test to see how you're progressing versus the game's systems. And that's why it makes sense that Ring Fit Adventure, a game about, well, getting fit, features exactly this style of boss. Drago is an unreasonably sexy, fitness-obsessed dragon, hell-bent on quite literally flexing on anyone who crosses his path. At the time of writing this, I've been playing Ring Fit for about 2 months, and every time I fight Drago, I can feel the difference. My squats are getting lower, my presses are getting stronger, and my core is tighter than a 12-year-old's new braces. I'm physically feeling the effects of the game, and I'm using that progress to humiliate this dragon in his stupid sexy spandex. Yep, that's right, another Sekiro boss. But I can't think of a developer other than From Software who consistently crafts such amazing and memorable boss fights. Kenichi Ashina isn't the first main boss of Sekiro, but he is, in a way, the game's gatekeeper. I've dabbled in previous Souls games, which gave me, enough of a foundation to work my way through those first couple of bosses leading up to him, but as soon as that fight started, I realized that this guy was on another level. The absolute scariest thing to see from a boss in a video game is either a larger-than-life monstrosity that takes up your entire screen, or just, like, a guy who is your size. Genichiro moves quick and uses a combination of bow and sword attacks to overwhelm players. It's just natural that a player's first instinct would be to try to outmaneuver their opponent, taking pop shots at him wherever he leaves himself open after an attack. And lots of people did beat him this way, but I was even struggling with that. After failing miserably over and over again, I turned to the internet for some help, and I got one piece of advice that really made Sekiro click for me. Get in that ass and stay in there. Suddenly, instead of running away, I was only moving forward. I kind of unlocked the idea that Sekiro is a game about overwhelming your opponents with a barrage of calculated offense and a few well-timed parries. After a couple of attempts to unlearn my bad habits, I suddenly found myself reaching his second form with relative ease. And before too long, not only did I get in that ass, I made it my home. I rose a family in that ass. I spent the rest of that game utilizing that lesson that I had learned in Ashina Castle. This kind of experience is the pinnacle of what a good boss fight can make a player work for, and is one of my favorite boss fights of all time.